Today we're going to be taking a look at a movie that can only be described as one of the greatest horror movie sequels of all time. That was sarcasm. Let's get spooky. Greetings everyone, my name is Nightshade. This is The Night Shift, a home for all things spooky. And today we're taking a look at I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, released in 2006. And this is definitely a movie. It is most definitely a movie. It's a movie that exists. It's a movie that I didn't know existed until years after its release. Like, this movie was released in 2006 and I didn't watch it or know about it until about 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. And I still remember the day that I saw it, the day that I rented it, and I remember the way I felt after watching it. So at this point in time, I had relocated. I wasn't living in my apartment that was attached next to the movie rental place, but there was a movie rental place about 2 blocks from where I was staying. It was a completely different one, and it was a family video, to be more specific. And the first paycheck that I got while living there, I walked over to the family video and checked out the horror section, and lo and behold, there was I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. And at that point in time, I was still pretty up to date with like new horror movie releases, and I was like, I didn't even know that I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer was a thing. When was that dropped to theaters? The reason I didn't know it came to theaters is because it never did. This is one of those direct-to-DVD sequels that shouldn't have even made it to DVD. So, I rented it, I came home, I watched it, and I immediately returned it the next day. It was a huge disappointment. And for the longest time, that was the only time I watched it. I had no desire to rewatch it. And if it wasn't for this review series, I wouldn't have watched it again. But I love you guys, and I wanted to make sure that I got all of the films in this franchise covered. I do this for you. But this time around, I was actually fairly surprised. I genuinely hated it the first time I watched it, and much to my surprise, I hate it even more now. How is this possible? Well, your boy knows a little bit more about movies and filmmaking and stuff like that, which added to my hatred of this film. So let's go ahead and rip the band-aid off and get into this review. For this film, I'm going to be breaking it down into 2 categories, the positives and the negatives. Let you know what I liked about this film and what I didn't like about this film. Then we're going to be talking about my favorite scene in this film and exactly why it is my favorite scene. And after that, we will score this out of 10 and end the video. But here on The Night Shift, we always start things off on the bright side with... Now it's time we move on to the not so bright side of things with... The story is absolute hot dookie poo-poo garbage. In an elaborate, way too over-the-top prank that leaves someone dead, friend group in this film that pulled the prank that left their friend dead decided they weren't going to confess to the prank and avoid jail time. 1 year later, the fisherman from the previous 2 films, thought to be dead, comes back to life and is summoned to murder these kids for some reason. I guess they're going for like how, Michael Myers only shows up on Halloween, or, Jason showing up whenever teenagers are doing the naughty stuff. So I guess the fisherman now is an undead zombie that comes back from the grave to murder people who do murder cover-ups, I guess. It's dumb. It's fucking dumb. And this film takes place in Colorado, the big fishing areas in Colorado. The beautiful fishing villages in all of Colorado. I'm glad they make an appearance in this film. And what's that? It's landlocked. There's no big fishing areas in Colorado. Okay, yeah, that makes it dumber. What the fuck is this movie? I don't know who thought this was a good idea or a good concept, but nope. The first time I watched this film, my line of thinking was that this was going to be like another seeking revenge story, like maybe it was a loved one seeking revenge on their friend's death or their family member's death, something like that. Zombie Ben Willis was nowhere near my bingo card. Like the same killer from the previous two films who actually died in the last film, is resurrected as a zombie and murders for murder cover-ups. That's my understanding of it, and it's not good. It's dumb. I would have loved to have been in the writer's room for this one and just watch people ping pong dumb ideas back and forth to each other, because there had to be something dumber if this is what they landed on, because this is fucking dumb. And like, I just want to know. I just want to know what were the other ideas that were being proposed for this to be the winner, because, you know, writers notoriously have bad ideas. That's how you get good stories, is having a bunch of bad ideas, ping-ponging them off of each other until you come up with a great script and a great movie. So I want to know what were the other pitches going on here. So yeah, the story is bad, and it definitely had to make it on my negatives, and this is the biggest negative of my little critique here. Moving right along into my next negative, we have... So whenever it comes to like direct to DVD films, I usually try not to harp on the cinematography too much. And it's not even so much about the cinematography itself. It's all of those edgy, weird transitions that they're trying to do. It's like the shaking, the ghost dissolves, the weird flashes, and just like the, ooh, I'm an edgy cinematographer. Yeah. It very much feels like, look, Ma, I made my first music video. And honestly, just doesn't look that good. And, you know, I'm not the best cinematographer in the world, for sure. That's why I'm here on YouTube. If I was the best cinematographer in the world, I'd be making movies. Like, I'm decent enough with the camera to make an okay YouTube channel. That's like the height of my skills. That being said, when I feel like I could have done a better job with my little camera here than they did in this film, especially with better dissolves and better transitions and just better editing in general, we got a problem. Even with my skill set, I think I could do a film comparable to this, and that's not good, because that's not my, you know, main thing. Like cinematography and stuff, I just do that for fun. I don't do it for a job. Somebody got paid real life dollars, like whole ass dollars, to shoot this film, and it's a travesty. So yeah, the cinematography as well as the weird editing that they have going on in this film is just, it's not good. I didn't enjoy it, and especially, you know, now with what camera knowledge I do have, it's not good. It's not good. All right, so moving right along into my next negative, we have... Now, usually whenever it comes to movies that are cheaply done and sent straight to DVD, I'm not so harsh on critiquing the acting. Like, take for instance the movie Drive-Thru. That is a straight to DVD film that I absolutely love, and it is filled with bad acting, head to toe, front to back. The acting in it is not good, but it does give the film a certain amount of charm that I find endearing, and I like how bad that movie is. It's so bad, it's good. The acting in this film right here, though, the acting in this film right here, god awful.
What do you think's Dev? It's a big deal for this town. I mean, say some freak did pop out of the woodwork, it doesn't mean he actually knows anything.
I know! That's what I told Amber!
So why are you coming down here busting my balls?
In case you and I are wrong.
And it's weird because there are some people in here that have been in other films. Like one of the dudes, I think, was in a Final Destination film, either 2 or 3. Having a hard time remembering, but he is in other films and doesn't act nearly as badly in other films. So like, it's weird. Maybe people had zero hopes and expectations for this film and just showed up to get a paycheck. And also, you know, on top of the bad acting, we'll go back to editing for a second. The dubbing, the audio dubbing, like the lip does not sync with what they're saying, and it's just bad. And like the audio mix as well is also bad. Like, it's too loud for the situation, like that, like, and none of the audio fluctuates whatsoever, which it sounds, you know, post-process, because it is, and because of that, it's very noticeable that they mixed the audio so flat and so even that it does take away from, like, whenever you're watching the movie, it's visibly noticeable and visibly annoying as well. Definitely had to go on the negatives list because everything on this film needs to be in the negatives list, because why not? This movie is a piece of shit. Who cares? And with that being said, let's go ahead and move into my final negative, which is... Before we get into this one, let me list a couple positive things about the fisherman in this film. The makeup effects on the fisherman aren't bad. The zombie look isn't bad at all. And the fisherman in this film was actually played by Don Shanks. And if you don't know who that is the actor who portrayed Michael Myers in Halloween 5. He's not the best Michael Myers, but in his defense, he wasn't given the best direction. And in this film, he did a good job with what he was given. He did exactly what he was asked to do, and for that, you gotta give the guy props. My issues are with the concept of the fisherman itself. Like I said in the story portion, this is Ben Willis. This is the OG killer from the two films. Come back as a specter, a zombie, a phantom, a what have you. And the fact that the first two films were based in, like, realism, nothing to do with anything supernatural. And then they migrate to the third film, which is almost exclusively supernatural. I think that was a dumb decision. It's a fucking stupid decision. I don't think it was the right move. I think this film should have been, like, if it had to be made and you had the rights to it and you wanted to make a film, I think a family member's revenge would have been better than zombie Ben Willis. Like, stick to the formula. Keep it based in realism and don't go into the elements of the supernatural. There's very few slasher flicks that can actually pull that off. You know, like Friday the 13th made it work. A Nightmare on Elm Street made it work. You know, some films make it work, and some films are like this one where it's just bad and dumb. And you never want to be bad and dumb, because then you get a film that I've not heard anybody praise. I've not seen any fans of this film. Not saying that they don't exist. I'm sure they do. It's horror. There's a fan for every movie in horror out there. Like, there's always going to be a fan base for something that is looked down upon, but there's just not a prominent outcry for this film. But, you know, I've never personally seen anybody sticking up for this film, and if you're somebody that loves this movie, sound off in the comments below. What about this film do you like? Let me know. Alright, so that is going to do it for the review portion of this film. Now we move on to our next segment, which is... So my favorite scene in this movie is definitely gonna be... Alright, so let's go ahead and score this thing and end the video. Whenever it comes to I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, I'm going to give this film a solid 1.5 out of 10. In my opinion, this film can fuck off and die. And that's just about gonna do it for me. If you like this video, let me know by leaving me a like. Comment down below what you want to see on the channel next. I will do my best to accommodate, I really will. And until next time, my name is Nightshade. This has been The Night Shift, and I will see you in the next video. Stay spooky, my friends. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I haven't done one of these segments in quite some time. I don't want to do them too often, otherwise it makes them feel less special. So I do plan on watching the new I Know What You Did Last Summer film coming out this weekend. I might actually leave the house. What the fuck? So my plan is to watch the new film this weekend and see if that's any good, and then do a review next Tuesday on that. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I'm really pumped to check it out. The trailers looked pretty all right. I'm not hoping for much, but we'll see how it goes. So fingers crossed that I go get to check that out this weekend. You know, I don't leave the house often, but when I do, it's for horror movies. And if you're still watching up to this point, congratulations. You've made it into the Spooky Squad, because you watched the video all the way to the end, and that makes you a real one. So let me know that you are a real one by commenting down below, Spooky Squad 2025. Let me know that you're out there. So I gotta quickly go and film Sunday's video, and I will catch you guys then. Peace.